Assessment of transport. Transport capacities have effects on two levels. The first level is transport within a farming system. For farming, these capacities determine the access to land and its potential use for agricultural activities. For the household, transport capacities are particularly crucial when there are no house connections for water and energy supplies. The second level is the transport connection between a farming system and the outside world. For the farm, these capacities determine the possible range of production and marketing opportunities, and thus the economic viability of production processes. For the household, the transport capacities determine the possibilities for external supply of food, other consumer goods, and services. They also influence the potential for off-farm income-generating activities and the opportunities to participate in social activities. Means of transport can usually be directly assigned to the components of a farming system. Nevertheless, competition between the individual components can occur. Competition for agricultural transport capacity may exist between the use on the farm and the employment for contract work as off-farm income-generating activity. Physical transport by family members continues to play a central role in many countries and therefore requires an analysis of competition for available labor capacities. Other means for transport, which are used alternatively in all areas of a farming system, vary greatly from place to place. Cars, motorcycles, and motor rickshaws are used to transport people as well as agricultural goods. The same holds for the use of animals for transport purposes. The transport capacities that must be considered in the analysis depend on the local conditions. The means of transport of a farming system can be classified according to the type of cargo transported. In transport logistics, the unit of ton-kilometers per hour is often used to measure transport capacity. This unit of measurement considers the possible transport quantity per transport in kilograms or cubic meters and the transport distance that can be covered within a certain time. However, the consideration of transport performance in a farming system requires the consideration of additional aspects such as the number of possible transports within a period, for example per day or per year. The possible range of the means of transport. The quality of the means of transport, which affects the quality of the transported items and, if applicable, is subject to institutional restrictions and the temporal availability of the means of transport within the year. The transport capacities of a farming system can therefore hardly be specified with just a single unit of measurement. It is therefore more appropriate to measure with reference to the individual items to be transported. The value of transport capacities arises from their costs, their revenues, and the benefit for the farming system. The average costs determine the costs of mechanized transport capacities. The same applies to transport using animals. The costs of manual transport by labor capacities of the farming system result from their opportunity costs. This requires the determination of the value of alternative uses of the necessary working time. The evaluation of transport capacities based on their performance results from the comparison with the costs and consequences of alternative transport options. The costs of alternative options are, for example, the prices of external service providers. Consequences arise from changes in operations or the success of these operations. A suitable measurement scale for costs and revenues of transport capacities are euros per transported ton or cubic meter. There is no simple measure for the benefit of transport capacities within a farming system. The benefit arises from time and organizational effects or other contributions to the goals of the people who live from a farming system.